Caitlin Clark might make you want to lose every game. But not here, not in Minnesota.
Let's get one thing straight. Who did Cheryl Reeve think she was? She thought she could silence Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin had other ideas, and what unfolded was anything but pleasant for Reeve and the Minnesota Lynx. This was the night CC delivered payback to her WNBA critics, and the world was watching. It was July 14th, a sweltering evening tailor-made for a statement. The Target Center brimmed with 19,000 fans, not to cool off, but to...
If you can, take a look at this. This is really cool. The Wolves shared this drone video from the game last week.
This wasn't just another game, it was personal. A shot at redemption, not against just any team, but the very coach and players who had dismissed her, who had kept her off Team USA. That's right, Cheryl Reeve's skepticism of Caitlin Clark had been no secret, and now Caitlin was ready to make a statement. This wasn't about a scoreboard, it was a fight for respect. TC, the dynamic guard known for her deep threes and relentless grit, had faced pressure before and thrived in it. But this night carried a different weight. It wasn't just high stakes, it was vindication.
We're going for $2,000 for this game.
Caitlin stepped onto the court like it was business as usual, calm, focused, composed, but the atmosphere said otherwise. The energy crackled. The arena split between roaring cheers for Caitlin and passionate chants for Reeve's Lynx. Then, a moment that cranked the tension even higher, Cheryl Reeve appeared courtside wearing a striking shirt that read "Black Girls Rock." It was bold, unmistakable, and it didn't go unnoticed. The message sparked buzz throughout the crowd, but Caitlin didn't flinch.
Boston and Uhas with the tip, and here's...
From the opening moments, it was obvious the Lynx had one mission: stop Caitlin Clark at all costs. Every time she touched the ball, defenders swarmed her, but Caitlin, ever the floor general, never flinched. Cool under pressure, she threaded pinpoint passes, finding her teammates in stride, and, with a flash of anticipation, she snatched a steal and dashed coast to coast for a smooth layup. Crowd exploded. That single play set the tone. Minnesota was in for a fight. But the Lynx didn't blink. On the very next trip down the court, Aaliyah Boston powered her way through the lane, muscling in a bucket of her own.
How about that? To get by Carlton, then Aaliyah...
As the first quarter wore on, the Lynx tightened the screws. Their defense zeroed in on Clark, throwing relentless double teams her way and using physicality to disrupt her rhythm. Every possession became a battle, with defenders crowding her space and forcing her into tough angles. Finding a clean look at the basket was no easy task.
Right side of the floor, Carlton's just been a little strong on a layup. Heidemann got a hand on...
Clark managed just 2 points in the opening quarter, connecting on only one of her 4 shot attempts. But despite the Lynx hounding her on every play, she refused to be rattled. Instead of forcing shots, she leaned into her elite court vision, reading the defense like a seasoned vet and dishing out 6 assists in the first quarter alone. Even when her shot wasn't falling, she found ways.
Zandalicini, some good length on the perimeter on Caitlin. That is a tough pass!
Wow!
And somehow...
The second quarter ignited when Zandalicini sank a smooth 3 from the corner, lighting up the scoreboard and electrifying the Lynx faithful. Her shot cut through the noise like a spark, and the crowd erupted, feeding
from a sold-out Target Center. Zandalicini got it! 3-point shooting.
But Caitlin Clark wasn't about to let that 3 slide. She took it personally. It was as if she looked up and said, "Watch this." With fire in her eyes, she went full throttle, slicing into the Lynx defense with fierce determination. She drove hard, zipped crisp passes to her teammates, and attacked the rim like the game belonged to her. Right on cue, Aaliyah Boston and Nalissa Smith stepped up, crashing the glass with grit and muscle. Their hustle in the paint kept the fever alive through the surge, giving Clark the breathing room to operate. Then, with the defense on its heels, Caitlin created just enough space to sink a smooth, cold-blooded step-back 3, her first of the night, but far from her last.
Told him I thought defensively we played, again, mostly well enough to win. Our offense is putting so much pressure on our defense. Make one mistake and they score, and it just hurts you so bad.
The crowd was electric, erupting in cheers for Caitlin Clark as she lit up the court. The energy in the arena was off the charts. But the Lynx, ever the resilient team, quickly made their adjustments, shifting their defensive focus to neutralize Aaliyah Boston and Nalissa Smith. That shift gave Clark the breathing room she needed.
In the studio. What's up, Ari? Welcome to the studio, girl. Caitlin, off glass.
Caitlin's leadership and playmaking kept the Fever right in the thick of. She wasn't just scoring, she was orchestrating the offense, setting up her teammates and creating opportunities with ease. As the first half came to a close with a 48-48 tie, it was clear that Clark's determination had kept Indiana within striking distance, despite Minnesota's offensive surge. Fans in the stands knew what Caitlin was capable of, and they could sense she wasn't finished. The game was tied, but it felt like a countdown. Everyone knew her breakthrough was coming. It was only a matter of when. As the third quarter began, Minnesota ramped up the defensive intensity, determined to shut Clark down. But Caitlin wasn't intimidated. She sliced through the Lynx' defense, threading a perfect pass to Nalissa Smith, who converted with a smooth finish. That play seemed to rattle the Lynx, pushing them to the edge as their frustration began to show. No matter how hard they tried, Clark kept finding ways to exploit their defense, leaving Minnesota scrambling for answers. Then, late in the third quarter, with Indiana trailing by 7, the physicality ramped up. Clark was fouled hard by Cecilia Zandel.
And then Clark's reaction, she grabs her and she flings that off.
Richard Carlton with 5 assists now to lead Minnesota. Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark, one thing she got is handles.
The Fever with the ball. Clark passed up the long 3. Into Boston. Give the assist to Clark with the Boston finish.
We talked about it to open the